I'm going to be building VS Code using Cursor and V0, and I'm going to take you with me step by step so you can do the same. So let's jump into it. We're in V0 right now. You go to v0.dev, sign up for their free plan. You get quite a bit of free messages every day, so don't worry about upgrading. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is tell it, build me. Actually, a good practice with these tools is to give them a visual. So this is Visual Studio Code, and this is basically what we want to create. So I'm going to take a screenshot of this. All right, let's go back to V0 and I'm going to say build me a user interface similar to the one I've uploaded a screenshot of. This is Visual Studio Code. I want to be able to create folders and files in the left pane as well as be able to edit files in the main pane using the Monaco editor. And by the way, Monaco is what powers Visual Studio Code. Whenever you edit a file, that's Monaco behind the scenes letting you do that. So let's send this off and see what we get. All right, it's writing the components for us. Okay, so there it's starting to actually show us what it's building. Let's open this up. What do we have here? Interesting. All right, that's pretty cool. I can't actually create new folders and files. So let's tell it there doesn't seem to be a way to create new folders and files. Please also add the ability to drag and drop files from one folder into another. All right, let's see what it does now. Okay, it's rewriting the VS Code editor, and you'll see there's a version 2 right here. You can also select the different versions of the code that it's created for you. Okay, so it's given us new item button here. So, okay, I mean, that's fine. I suppose that's okay. So let's see if we create test file, test.js perhaps. Okay, test folder. All right, so that doesn't really seem to be working. So let's take a screenshot of this and tell it when I try to create a folder or file, it looks like this. Please fix it so we can see the name and it appears as a folder or a file. All right, let's have it fix that for us. And by the way, here we're just creating kind of like the skeleton of this thing. The main functionality we're going to build in Cursor. All right, so we're now in version 3 of this file. So let's try this again. So let's create a folder called test. Okay, there's our folder. Now let's create a file called test.js. Okay. That's pretty cool. Okay. All right. I'm liking this. So now that we have this, let's set up our NextJs project so we can actually bring this into Cursor and start building this out. All right. So we're on the NextJs website. And by the way, that's nextjs.org. And we're going to basically install everything we need to get this project set up. So I'm in their docs right now. We want to go to installation. If you don't have Node set up, by the way, just go to Node, download it, follow the installer and get that installed. So after you've done that, we want to use this command npx create next app at latest. So I'm going to copy this. We're going to go into Cursor. Now in Cursor, just open up a folder. So I've created this VS Code clone folder. This is just where you're going to create your new project. Let's open this up. Let's open up a terminal and let's run that command. And this is going to create a new Next.js project for us. So let's give it a name. I'm going to call it VS Code clone. Do we want to use TypeScript? Yes. ESLint? Yes. Tailwind CSS? Yes. SRC directory? Yes. App router? Yes. And that we say no. Okay, now it's going to create this project for us. Okay, great. Now, in order to actually run this, we're going to say, well, we're going to type in the command line npm run dev. My bad. We have to actually go into this folder first. So this VS Code clone. So VS Code clone. And we're going to say npm run dev. All right. Now this is what our app looks like. So this is running on localhost 3000. So the next thing we're going to do is go back to our V0 and we have this add to codebase button. We're going to copy this command. We're going to go back into Cursor, open up a new terminal here. Just make sure that we're in our project. Let's go into VSCode clone, and we're going to run this command. What this is going to do is it's going to take that component that we just created. Let's just say, so it's asking to install shadcn. That's the UI package. So we're going to say yes. This is actually going to take that component and bring it in to our project. Need to create a component. So JSON file. Yes. We'll use the default style, neutral color base. Okay. All right. There it goes. Okay, so now that component has been brought in, and we have it here in src components, and there's our VS Code editor. So this is what V0 has created for us. So the first thing we're going to do is we have this in app, this page.tsx, and this is essentially what's displaying this page right here. So we're going to delete all of this, and we're actually just going to use cursor to do this for us. So we're going to select everything, hit Command K or Control K if you're on Windows, and we're going to say, please have this page show. I'm just going to open this in a new window, this VS Code editor, and we're going to say at vscodeeditor.tsx, this one right here. And we're going to submit edit. And what this should do is just delete everything and just add our VS Code editor. So you can obviously do this yourself, but the whole purpose of this is to show cursor and V0 working together. So we're just going to do this as no code as possible. All right. So now there we go. This is our app. It's running on localhost 3000. Now we basically have what V0 created for us in our project. And I do want to point out, I don't think we tested this in V0, but you can actually take a file and drag it into a different folder and then drag it back. So that's pretty cool. Just gonna, actually what happened there? I dragged it into document, and then let's drag it out. Oh, there it's at the bottom. I thought it disappeared completely. Okay, cool. All right, so this is already looking pretty good. So the next thing I want to do is actually add a menu at the top with a file button where you press it and you can open an existing project. So let's do that in Cursor. So we're going to go into Cursor and we're going to open up Composer. Now Composer lets you edit multiple files at the same time. It can also create files and directories for you, which is really freaking cool. So I'm going to hit Command I on Mac. I think it's Control I or Control Shift I on Windows. And what we're going to do is we're going to, so it's already got context of page.tsx, and I'm going to go ahead and add this VS Code editor as well. Click Done. So now we're going to say, please create a menu at the top with a file button that opens a drop-down, allows you to close a folder and open a new existing folder. This should then populate the new folder's files into the editor so that we can edit those files. All right, let's see what it does. Okay, so there it's generating some code for us. We're just going to let it do its thing. Okay, so it's done some changes for us in this file. So I'm going to go ahead and hit accept all. Oops, it looks like there is a problem here. Okay, so all we're going to do is take a screenshot of this. We're going to go back into Composer and we're going to say, I'm getting this error. And we're going to let it do its magic for us. Okay, so it's saying that we have to run this npx shadcn UI latest at drop-down menu. So let's close Composer. Let's go into our terminal and run that command. Say yes. Okay, shadcn UI command not found. So let's hit this debug with AI button. And now it's going to help us debug this. So try installing the package globally. Well, let's give that a go. This is going to install shadcn UI. Okay, so it looks like an access issue. We'll run it with sudo. Okay, there we go. That worked. So let's run this command. Okay, so it looks like none of these commands are working. So what I'm going to do is try and just open up a new terminal window. Sometimes that works. So we're going to go into our project, VSCode clone. I'm going to try running this. Okay, there we go. That seems to have, no. Okay, so I just went onto the shadcn website and apparently it's actually shadcn at latest, not shadcn UI. So let's copy this. I'm going to go into Cursor. It's going to close this and we're going to say npm install shadcn at latest. Okay, and then we're going to do npx shadcn at latest add drop-down menu. Okay, there we go. That's working. Okay, perfect. Now let's go back to our project. Hey, there we go. Now we have file, close folder, open folder. Okay, it looks like it's giving me a boilerplate folder here. Okay, so this is pretty good. We can close, we can open. Now we want to actually be able to open an existing folder. All right, so let's go back into Composer. It's Command I. Say this is great. Now let's have the open folder button allow you to select an existing folder and load it into the editor. All right, there it goes, making some changes for us. We're going to hit accept. Now let's try this. Open folder. Okay, so let's say I've got Flowwise here. Let's try and open this up. It looks like it froze. Oh, and my browser is dead. Okay. Let's kill this. So we'll tell it when I try to open a new folder, my browser hangs and does nothing. And we're going to let it figure out what's going on there. In the meantime, let me open up our project again here in the browser. Okay, it's still generating, so that's why we saw an error there. I'm just going to let it finish here. It's actually creating a new component for us here under UI. This is the cool thing about Composer. It can actually generate these files for you, which is really nice. Because sometimes, a lot of the times, AI dumps everything into one file for you. When that file gets too long, it gets a bit unwieldy to work with. So it's good that it separates things for you. Oh, it looks like it's breaking. Okay, I'm just going to accept this. This looks a bit dodgy, but okay. We're just going to take a screenshot of this. Looks like we might need to install this component. Let's just see if it said anything here. Okay, it did actually tell us to install it. So let's just make sure we follow these instructions. All right, let's go here and run that. Okay, and it's still failing. All right, let's take a screenshot. And then we can go back to cursor and say, I'm getting this error. Okay, so it's telling me to actually do some stuff here. I'm going to try something by saying, can you help me implement these changes? It's getting a little bit lazy on us here. All right, let's accept this. And we're still getting an error. Let's just see what it said. So it doesn't seem to want to change this piece for us. Oh, no, it did. All right, we will go back to this and just screenshot this. And say, I'm still getting this error. Sometimes it's a back and forth with the AI. All right. So it's actually trying to get it from components, UI, use toast, but it's not in here. And oh, I see. So it's actually thought that this, our parent folder, is the directory, which is a bit odd. Okay, so what we're going to do is just move these files from components UI to this components UI. Move. Yes. Move. Yes. And then we've got a types folder here, and this is inside SRC. So we're going to move it into SRC here. Okay, now let's go back here. There we go. So this is loading now. Yeah, guys, unfortunately, sometimes the AI does get confused, and this is where you have to know what you're doing. So it's not always as straightforward as, hey, just prompt it to do this thing for me. It can really lead you down a deep, dark path. Okay, so let's see if this works. Close folder. We're going to open a folder. Now, okay, we've got Flowwise selected. So let's hit select. And this is still breaking. All right. So let's go back to the AI and say, opening a new folder is still breaking. When I click open folder, the browser hangs and doesn't let me do anything. Just make sure it's still broken. All right, let's see what it does now. Okay, so it's basically telling us to, well, it's made some changes for us. Just make sure it didn't do it in here. Good. We're going to accept the changes. I'm going to have to kill this and start a new session here. Okay, so it's asking us to open our developer console. And then if we go open folder, click select, nothing is happening. Let's take a screenshot for it. See, this is what I see. It's still hanging after I click open folder. Telling me to add stuff to this file. I just want to make sure that it's actually doing that for me. Okay, it looks like that's already here, so we'll accept these changes. And now we're getting another error. Okay, we'll accept these changes. Now we're still getting this error. I want to try something quickly. Let's close this folder. Wonder if it's not getting confused because we have VS Code clone inside VS Code clone. So I'm going to open this. I'm going to open up Composer and let's just open up our page in our editor. We'll add page and we'll tell it I'm getting this error. Okay, let's accept the changes. And it's still doing the same. We'll just add this file to our composer. I'm still getting this error. All right, let's accept that. All right, so we're still getting this error. So I'm just going to take a screenshot of this whole thing. And I'm going to open up an AI pane here so I can chat to the AI. I'm also going to add this use toast file so it has context of that. And I'm going to ask, why am I getting this error? Okay, indicates that that can be resolved likely because the path is incorrect. To just import path, the correct path should be that. So let's paste that there. All right, now we should be able to go to our localhost 3000. Know why this is hanging. Okay, here we go. So we've got open here, open folder. I'm going to try and open the project that I'm currently working on. We're going to select. Okay. Hey, we have liftoff. Oh, now it can't read the files. Okay, fair enough. So now let's take a screenshot of this. And we can tell it this is reading the folder, but it looks like I can't read the files when I open them. All right, let's accept all the changes. And let's try this again. So I'm gonna open that folder. All right, let's take another screenshot. This is what I'm seeing when I try to edit a file. So it's made some changes here for us. All right, let's accept them. Let's refresh this. Open up our folder. Hey, we have liftoff. That's awesome. All right, so if we go into our src file, I don't know what's happening there. App, page.tsx. Oh, it's not able to open that for whatever reason. So it looks like it's not able to open anything one folder in. So let's take a screenshot and tell it it looks like it's working, but it's not able to open anything one folder or more deep. Let's see what it does. Okay, so it looks like it's found the issue. Okay, it's made some changes for us. Let's see if this works. Let's refresh. I don't know what the hell's up with this bottom, but anyway, we can sort that out in a moment. Let's open that up. Let's see if we got to src app. Hey, there we go. Layout.tsx. See if we can read this stuff. Cool. All right, I like this. So now the next thing we want to do is add some tab functionality there at the top. This is working. Can you implement some tab functionality at the top so we can open and close new tabs when clicking on files? All right, we'll let it do its magic. All right, we'll go ahead and accept these changes. Let's refresh. We'll open up a new folder here. Let's give this a try. There we go. Hey, and we can close these up. This is looking pretty good. Okay, we'll sort out that bit of white in a moment. Beautiful. All right. Let's take a screenshot. And then we'll go back to our composer and say, this is working great. When I scroll all the way down, I get this bit of white. Can you remove that? All right, let's accept it. Now let's refresh. Open up our folder. Okay, I mean, it's still kind of showing up if I scroll too far, but it kind of snaps back. Okay, I mean, I think this looks pretty good. I'm quite happy with this so far. I mean, this took, under an hour? And especially as somebody who has basically never used Next.js, to be able to put something like this together so quickly, I think that's pretty cool. All right, well, let me know what you guys think down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and let me know if there's anything else that you'd like me to build out like this. I will see you guys in the next one. Adios.